start talking, that's still going to be. Buffalo Fanatics, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Buffalo Fanatics TV, live exclusively on the Buffalo Fanatics YouTube channel. I am your host, DM3, along with my co-host, the Kingpin, Pierre, the creator of the Buffalo Fanatics. Pierre, you there, my brother? What are we talking about tonight?
What is going on, Fanatics? Much love to everyone out there. It's time to get busy. What's going on, Dave?
Nothing much, just, another lovely Saturday night, Buffalo Fanatics TV. Where else would you rather be? So, before we get into our debate of the night, if you guys want to advertise right here live on Buffalo Fanatics TV, hit up our Gmail, buffalofanatics@gmail.com, and we will help you grow your brand, and we'll go from there, yeah. So, big topic right now in the news, everywhere you look, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere, all over, ESPN, NFL Network, is Antonio Brown. So I think we have some difference of opinions on Antonio Brown. Pierre, why don't you tell me why you are so infatuated with Antonio Brown and the Bills signing him?
I'm infatuated with winning, number one. I need my Buffalo Bills to become a consistent contender. And to me, that just makes all the sense in the world. Why are we going to sit and always or just, constantly try to draft to make sure? No, let's get some premier talent and let's make a run. Let's show the NFL, the Bills ain't nothing to fuck with. So that's where I'm like, why not? Just why not, Dave?
So, Antonio Brown, we're talking about the same Antonio Brown who quit on the Pittsburgh Steelers at the end of last season, right? We're talking about the same guy. The same Antonio Brown who is about to be 31 years old come July. The same Antonio Brown who's about to get paid after his contract is up. So do you honestly think that Brandon Beane and his penny-pinching self is going to give Antonio Brown $16 to $24 million a year? Honestly.
I mean, I wouldn't say why not. Now, to answer your question, do I think Beane will do it? Probably not. Should he do it? Hell yeah. So look, how I look at it is real simple. We're talking about a wide receiver just alone in the last 6 years having 686 receptions, 9,145 yards, 67 touchdowns, and had 6 straight seasons where he had 100+ receptions. That's most in the NFL, right? So number one, he's the best wide receiver in football. He also gives Josh Allen an elite number one target to throw to, which allows Robert Foster and Zay Jones, to go. Hello? Oh yeah. To go more one-on-one.
You're good.
So I'm like, why do we always just have to babysit and coddle people? Because here's my largest point when it comes down to an Antonio Brown. It's just all the emotional baggage people put on him. Not necessarily that he brings, to the table. Because I think it's a double standard. No one really looks at the other side of a situation. They hear one story, they see one story, and they babysit and coddle that one story. And what I mean is, no one talks about Big Ben being a horrible leader. No one talks about Big Ben criticizing the coaching staff, Mike Tomlin, Todd Haley play calling. I mean, he was criticizing to the media. No one's talking about Big Ben criticizing James Washington's lack of route running last year. No one's talking about Big Ben constantly bashing his players to the media. But yet, when a player gets tired of it, now he's the diva. Now he's the one that's being looked at as the one that's bringing all this baggage, right? So James Jones, former wide receiver of the Green Bay Packers and current analyst at the NFL Network, he actually had some nuggets to share. And what he said happened from, current players who told him about it was that what happened was Antonio Brown just reached the boiling point. So apparently, Big Ben, he kept on criticizing Antonio Brown during practice, during film sessions, saying, look, I don't have to throw you the ball, yap, yap, yap. And even that last practice where everyone's talked, there was a huge blow up. What happened, according to James Jones, was Antonio Brown allegedly ran the wrong route. Big Ben got frustrated. He tossed the ball down and said, get this fucking guy out of here. So as Antonio Brown, again, a guy who had 100+ catches over the last 6 years, most in NFL history over that 6-year span, they're going to talk as if this guy is a nothing? So it's a constant bashing by the, quote unquote leader of the franchise. It's like it's one of those situations where you're like, yo, when is enough enough? And Antonio Brown just had enough.
So we got some comments coming through. I'm gonna get to these real quick because they are coming through pretty quick. Matthew Wronski, what's up, dude? Stats wise, no argument. Will he destroy a young locker room? Yes, unless he wants to be there. Okay, so that brings up a good point in my argument. Now, do I immediately think that Antonio Brown on this roster is an upgrade? Absolutely. Does he give us one of the best receiving locker rooms
No.
in the NFL?
The best. The best.
There you go.
Go ahead.
All right, the best.
The best.
You heard it here, Kingpin, the best. My thing is, chemistry-wise, does he fit in with the Sean McDermott locker room? Now, with that being said, there are a few guys that are on the roster that have had some issues. I mean, look at Duke Williams. Duke Williams punched a guy in the face before the NFL Combine. He wasn't invited to the NFL Combine. He went to the CFL. He's getting a second chance. That's fine. But it's the old Terrell Owens mentality, right? Anybody in their mother would have wanted Terrell Owens on their team when he was in his prime, arguably the best receiver in the NFL in his prime. But is that going to mess up any chemistry that they already have going, bringing in young guys, working through the McDermott, culture and stuff like that? And that's one reason why I think that Bean will shy away from even picking up the phone and saying, hey, what's it going to take to get him? Okay, thank you. That's why I don't think that Bean's mentality is going to come through, and Bean's going to make the call. We have draft capital. We have all the money on paper. It looks on paper we could trade for him. We could extend him 3-4 years. So that's my thought on it. Let me take some more comments real quick because they're.
I actually see a comment from a Robert Cooney. He says, "Look, I'm pissed and ready for a Super Bowl. I'm right there with him.
There we go, Robert.
I'm ready to become a consistent contender, man. And the only way to do that is to make sure that we have, or that we put all our resources, together in order to get, some premier talent, man. So, I mean, that's where I'm at.
I agree.
But go ahead.
I agree. But yeah, that's cool. Thank you guys. 44 you guys in here on a Saturday night. Love it. Thank you for the continued support. Every Sunday we're going to be here. We had to do this Saturday because I got something going on tomorrow. But every Sunday we're going to be here from now until the end of time. So Believers Talk says if they trade for him, Coach McDermott will have spoken to Allen and McCoy if McCoy is still here. If we trade and get him, I trust the coaching staff will have done their due diligence. So that's a good point. McDermott is very methodical. Brandon Beane's also very methodical. So they would probably take a very methodical approach, which could also hinder us trading for him because somebody else might just jump right on it. And reports are coming out that the Steelers won't trade him to anybody in the AFC North. They won't trade him to the Steelers. They'd rather send him to, the NFC where they don't have to go up against them every year. What's your thoughts on the Bills doing their due diligence and making an effort to sign or to trade for Antonio Brown?
I just think they owe it to the fans to try. They owe it to the fans to try to make this offense the best it can be. And with all the cap money we have, I just don't see no reason why not, right? We talk about a locker room, but yet so many Bills fans, they're still criticizing Zay Jones, saying that, he's irrelevant or he's not stepping up. Robert Foster, who had an amazing, well, I wouldn't say amazing, but had a nice, good last 4 to 6 game stretch last season. But he's still young. Antonio Brown has never been known as a locker room cancer. If anything, there's been reports of players saying that he's a hell of a teammate. He works harder than anyone on the team. So I just really think that the narrative that's being spun right now is that Antonio Brown is bad for the locker room, where I'm just saying I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
I think, too, though, with all the stuff that Le'Veon Bell's doing, he's sending out tweets, free at last, I'm free at last. There's got to be something else going on in that locker room. And maybe it's Big Ben. Maybe it's the coaching staff. Maybe it's other players. But this could possibly be Antonio Brown just acting a fool because he wants to get out of Pittsburgh. He doesn't want to be there, showing up at all these award shows with jacked up hair and Hulk Hogan looking mustache and acting all. But I'm saying he could be acting out because he wants out of Pittsburgh. Not that there's that's him and he's that type of character in the locker room. I'm just saying, you see all this stuff, like you saw his Instagram post where he was on the damn exercise bike talking all kinds of crazy shit. Like, dude was making no sense. No, dude was making absolutely no sense.
He says, I'm Mr. Big Chest. Call me Mr. Big Chest.
Yeah.
Go look. This is a third player who outwardly criticized the team, right? So we had James Harrison, who was, cut, and he said, look, Mike Tomlin just doesn't have control of the locker room. He doesn't hold players accountable. And accountable, yeah. I would assume it being Big Ben. Big Ben, it looks as if he gets away with murder. I mean, he even said that he has the right to criticize players to the media. Like, do you really? But yet no one talks about that. So when a quarterback criticizes its players to the media, he's considered a leader. Look at this leader. That's a great leader. But when a wide receiver does it, oh, he's a diva. He's a cancer to the locker room. Like, that, it just doesn't match up. It just doesn't match up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I just don't see why it's why the narrative is so quick to be, let's go ahead and tarnish Antonio Brown, but give Big Ben a pass.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not like Big Ben's innocent either. I mean, dude's got skeletons in his closet that were all in the public media. But the thing, I think why Big Ben gets away with it, which it kind of sucks, but because he's won a Super Bowl. And he was there, with Hines Ward and the people before the Le'Veon Bells and the Antonio Browns. So I just think that between him and the owner and the coaching staff, they got something where Big Ben is the final say. And if you guys don't want to get along with them, we're just going to kick your ass to the curb. So, which sucks. But let me get some more comments going while we, man, they're flowing in. 51 of you guys in here. Much love to you from Buffalo Fanatics. You guys are amazing. Rico, bring me AB right now. All right. Christopher Childs, who is giving Big Ben a pass?
Man, whoa. A lot of people are giving him a pass. No one's talking about. Look, no one talks about the fact that Big Ben constantly criticizes the media. I mean, he constantly criticizes coaches and teammates, through the media. right? Now, nobody, like really by saying no fans out there who is out there going hard for Antonio Brown is saying, well, Big Ben kind of does the same thing, if not worse. Yeah. Antonio Brown said, look, I'm just tired of this, man. You guys putting Big Ben on this pedestal. He can do no wrong. He can criticize whoever he wants, and yet he gets the pass. No, bump all that noise, man. I'm out, man. Le'Veon Bell said, look, I'm out, man. James Harrison said, look, I'm out, man. Look, players are going to be leaving. We'll see how good Antonio Brown is without Big Ben is without Antonio Brown. We'll see.
I mean, it's going to be interesting because, you know, they got Juju Smith-Schuster and they got James Conner. So they got all these guys that I guess they feel like they can just replace arguably the best running back in the NFL and arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL. Because I feel, here's what I think is going to happen with Antonio Brown. I don't think they're going to get the offers that they think they're going to get for him. I really don't, because who has all the best cards in this hand? Not the Steelers. Not the Steelers for sure, because teams are going to know that you guys, he doesn't want to play for you. You know, you don't have, I mean, you got Juju Smith-Schuster, and then after that, what do you got? The draft is coming up. So guess what? You guys want a third-round pick or a second-round pick next year? Fine. I don't see them getting a first-round pick for Antonio Brown, like all these reports are saying that, you know, teams are just, you know, signing up to give away their draft capital. That's not going to happen. I just don't see that happen. What do you think?
You know what's going to happen, though, is when Antonio Brown goes to the Dolphins or the Jets or the Patriots, what's going to happen is Bills fans are going to be like, man, look, the Bills should have got him. Now he went to the Patriots. Now he went to the Dolphins. Now he went to the Jets. And now he's about to kill us twice a year. That's what's going to happen. I'm saying, look, bump all the noise, man. Let's get the guy right now. Let's have Josh Allen progress. And what better way by having the #1 wide receiver in football? We have to, as fans, in my opinion, we have to get off the emotional element of the game and focus more on wins and losses. What happens between the lines? What happens on the field? And on the field, Antonio Brown is the #1 wide receiver in football. So the fact that so many fans are so quick to say no on bringing him in, that's just mind-boggling. All because of what, though? Because of perceived cancer in the locker room? A perceived diva? Most of the great wide receivers were perceived divas. So come on with this whole stuff, man.
And I said last week, the only culture, because I don't live in that Buffalo Bills locker room. I don't live with Sean McDermott and his coaching staff. The only culture that I care about being a Buffalo Bills fan for almost 30 years is fucking winning. Winning is the only culture that I give a shit about. I want every year to think that this can be our year, or it's going to be our year, because we have the guys on the roster. Quick shout out to Bob Nickers. He just donated. Appreciate that, brother. That means a lot. Thanks, man. So these comments are coming in. I can't even keep up. 63 you guys in here now. Love it.
Yeah, man. Shout out to you guys. Yo, but while you're finding a comment, I just want to share this real fast. Since 2011, Antonio Brown is first in targets, first in receptions, first in receiving yards, and first in receiving touchdowns. The dude is an animal, but yet we're so quick to say, nah, I don't want all that production. We don't need that. We're the Bills. The Bills don't need production. We want choir boys. That's what we want. That's a dangerous avenue to go down, man. We're trying to build a contender here. We're not trying to build, the next, Baptist church. Like, we need to take a step back and realize, what do we really want as Bills fans? I don't know, man. What are the comments looking like, Dave?
All right, let me get through some comments. You need to breathe, man. You need a minute?
Yeah, I need to breathe, man.
All right, so Bills fan 7883 said first and targets. That's the big one right there. That means two things to me. He's getting open, or the quarterback has trust in him that he will catch the ball even if he's not open. So that's the good point there, Bills fan 7883. Aiden Rout says, get Le'Veon Bell and Matt Paradis. Yeah, I take both of those. Matt Paradis definitely. I think that's the number one center on the board right there. And so stories have come out. I don't want to jump off our what we're talking about, but stories have come out that Matt Paradis is going to meet with the Broncos at the Combine. But preliminary talks, they're not even close. They're not even on the same wavelength as far as structure, years, guaranteed. So that's actually a good thing for the Bills. Let's see what we got.
Yo, real quick. Rico, building the next Baptist church. Like, I mean, that's what it seems like Bills fans want nowadays, man. And I saw a comment up here. Bills fan 7883 said first and targets. Yeah, first and targets, man. First and targets. Let me see here. I saw another comment, but yeah, yo, shout out to all 70 tuning in, watching. What do you guys think about bringing Antonio Brown to Buffalo? Is he still one of those guys where you're like, I'm not sure if it's the right move? Or are you like me and say, look, if we can bring in the number one receiver in football, go for it?
All right, so I got a good comment for you. This is a hot one right here. 24 says, Choir boys are going to get McBean fired real quick.
Woo! You damn right. That's exactly what's going to happen.
All right, let's talk about that for a minute. So, like I just said 5 minutes ago, the only culture that I give a shit about is actually winning football games, right? Actually being competitive every single year. Now, the Patriots are in our division. That's fine. But what would be more gratifying than to beat the Patriots with Tom Brady on the field in an AFC playoff game? That would be the best all. So with that comment right there, if you do some digging, do some research, and you kind of see the guys that McDermott and Bean are bringing in, there is a common theme. Family, religious beliefs. They went and played all 4 years in college, or 5 years on some of them. They're great locker room guys. They've never had any trouble. But this circles back to the Antonio Brown thing, because the last couple months he's been kind of acting weird. So what? Who cares? You keep bringing in these guys that have grit and determination, and they're hard workers, and they show up with their lunch pail every day, and they just might be somebody. Well, gosh darn it. You know what? That shit's only going to work on fucking special teams.
He said,
all right?
Well,
run down there and tackle the guy.
He said, well, God,
you know what I mean? Like,
gosh darn it, man.
Yeah, he showed up to practice 2 hours early, and he stays in the film room 3 hours late at night every day. But you know what? He has no friggin' talent. So why do we keep these guys around? You know, why do we keep guys on the roster? Because they're hard workers. Patrick DeMarco. Why are you taking up a roster spot? Because you do this outside of football, because you're a nice guy and you pat your teammates on the back and you give them a little slap on the ass. Good try, good try. You know what? We don't need Patrick DeMarco. Get me another running back that can catch the ball and make plays. Get me another tight end. Give me another defensive lineman in rotation. I don't give a shit about Patrick DeMarco. Fullbacks are a dying breed. There was probably 3 teams last year that used fullbacks the entire season, that used them on a regular basis, and it was all for pass catching. Most of it was pass catching. The culture thing is so friggin' annoying. It's over the top. I'm sick of hearing about every time a new coach is hired, well, I got to get in here and I got to change the culture around. It's basically you're just stabbing the last guy in the back because his culture sucked. And all of a sudden now every guy on the team is going to just buy right in and yes, sir, no, sir, okay, yes, I'll do my best. Right, I'll get right on that. Like, you got to have guys with heart. You got to have alpha males. You got to have guys that will get in your face when you're not playing well. That you got to have guys that think outside the box and that want to try to do new things and are willing to, I don't know, just question the coach. Because when you're in a position of, like myself, I'm in a position of management, I always question upper management. That doesn't mean I don't respect them. That means that I have a brain. I want to use it and make me understand why you want me to do something a certain way. But what do you think about the whole culture dynamic and the McBean philosophy of these players on the team?
Look, you said a lot there, right? But the main parts that I took out of it is you want to have guys who can do all these things, right? You want to have
right.
But what you really want is a guy who's able to produce. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, man. It's like, I look at things so simple. It's not that difficult. You look for guys who produce, not guys who could produce or may produce or he looks like he could. No, guys who actually produce. Antonio Brown
right.
is the number one producing wide receiver in football. So now I see a comment right here from UZI T21. He said, "You rather have an older Brown and give up a high draft pick, or select someone like a Metcalf that you'd have for a while?" Now that's a very solid question. I've always been one. Okay, what's up? Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You're on it. You're on it.
As far as draft picks are great to have. They're great to have. But fans, we tend to get married to those picks a little bit too much, right? Over the last, I say, from 2010, I forget the exact stat that I pulled up last year, but there was a stat that I found from 2010 to 2015 or 16 or something like that. We had, 48 draft picks. And out of those 48 draft picks, we only re-signed 3 of those.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, we can have all these draft picks, but again, there's no guarantee that these guys are even going to produce at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the last 5 first-round picks. How many are actually on the roster? So it's just one of those things where, we're so quick to just say, oh, if we draft a guy, we're going to have him for the next 10, 12 years. Are we really? The last quarterback we drafted in the first round, he didn't even have the damn 5th-year option. So it's now, as far as the culture, Dave, it's just like you said, man, it comes down to winning, man. The Patriots have the best culture. We hate on the Patriots because we're not the Patriots. Let's just be real with it. Let's just be, like Rico says, let's just be a buck. Let's be a buck, right?
Keep it a buck.
Just keep it a buck. It comes down to winning, man.
But
go ahead.
Yeah, and to your point about the Patriots too, nobody remembers who the Patriots draft, right? To your point about draft picks, I call them what ifs. I mean, how many times do people, let's grade what the Patriots drafted? No, bitch, the Patriots just won the Super Bowl. Nobody gives a shit about who they drafted in 2018. Nobody cares. Nobody ever looks to see where they're at on the draft board for 2019. Nobody cares. They figure it out. They plug in guys that want to win. That's it. They want to win. They have talent. That's it. So that's the biggest difference, I think, between what we've been accustomed to the last 20 years in the New England Patriots.
Nah, but what it is really, though, and then you can probably, look at some more comments. But
let me check out some.
But what it comes down to, and I'm going to just be real with the fans, man, just for a quick second. I love the Buffalo Bills. And I know everyone watching this loves the Buffalo Bills. But I think because we've been mediocre for so long, we're trying to stay with what we're used to. We've always been used to drafting our players, letting our players go, like Gilmore or Sammy or Darius, because of some just whatever reasons, right? And just repeating the process. That's what we've been used to. So because
you just said process.
Nah, but yeah. So that's been our process over the last 2 decades. It's the same old.
You said it again.
Over and over again, right? So why don't we just do something new and say, yo, let's do what the Rams did. Let's try to bring in every damn free agent we can get, every last one of them, and see how that works out for us, right? We tried the whole draft method and the whole let's just be methodical and judicious, and look, that hasn't worked. It hasn't worked for almost 20 years now. So why don't we try something else, man? Go get Le'Veon Bell if possible. Go get an Antonio Brown if possible. Go get all these top free agents. Or not all of them, but let's attempt to get as many of those as we can. That's where I'm at, man.
Yeah. I mean, last week we talked about, you said spend half the cap and be fine. Spend all that shit. Spend all of it. If Bean wants to, everybody thinks that Bean is so intelligent the way he the last 2 years he's molded our salary cap to what it needs to be, and he's got all these draft picks. He was able to get Josh Allen. If he is that smart, he can spend all that money in a way to where it won't put us in cap jail, 4 years from now. But I'm going to get through some comments real quick. Oh, Jacob Taggart says, remember this team made the playoffs with Tyrod. All right. But was it because of Tyrod? I don't know about that. Tom Hampton says, sign Mitch Morse. Yeah, I mean, it's a valid point. See, Bob Nickers, the Patriots are not even good. I don't know what that means. I mean, they got to be. They won the Super Bowl, right? Christopher Child says AB ain't a team first player. All right. So what? You want to talk about LeSean McCoy now? We kind of brought him up last week. I kind of threw a zinger in there last week, and I think a couple people, were kind of intrigued a little bit more about LeSean McCoy. So I have a feeling in my heart of hearts that he's not going to be on the team for OTAs. He might not be on the team when the league year opens. My feeling is that he is very expensive, and he's going to be 31 years old. He's not a wide receiver. He's not a quarterback. He's a guy who gets hit on every single play and gets hit hard on every single play. I just don't think – you said he had 93 octane in that bitch last week.
93.
But does he?
93. That shit is going. It's going fast, baby. It's going fast.
But does he really? Like last year, we all want to contribute, the lack of production to the O-line, which, okay, I can blame 2/3 of that on there, but he looked like his decision-making after he was given the ball when he was trying to hit pockets and hit holes just didn't look like it was the same. It looked like he was trying to do way too much. Maybe it's just me. Everybody knows that LeSean McCoy is one of my favorite Bills of the last 10 years.
It don't sound like it. It don't sound like it, man.
Well, I'm keeping it real. I'm going to be real. I think that what we can do is, I don't care about the dead cap. I think that we could take the money and get 2 running backs that would do the same thing that he does. And you can switch up. You can get a ground and pound guy, or you can get a sprint back. You can get a guy good in space, a guy on some jet sweeps, a guy on screen passes. I just don't think that at 31 years old, we're going to get the LeSean McCoy of 4 years ago. I don't care how bad we fix or how good we fix this offensive line. I just don't think he's got enough left. He's coming out on social media saying, don't sleep on number 25, don't sleep on 20. He said all that shit last year. And then the excuses come. I'm sick of the excuses for, the O-line sucked and this, that, and the other thing. Chris Ivory, when he got the ball, he hit the fucking hole. And he moved the chains. And Chris Ivory didn't have that great of a season,
like a hater,
as far as
man.
I'm concerned.
You sound like a hater over there, man.
No, I'm not a hater, man.
You're over there hating,
You know
Dave.
I love LeSean McCoy, man. Come on.
You
know how I
LeSean
feel
McCoy,
about Shady.
Man. I don't know about you, Dave. Look, man. Adrian Peterson at age 33 had over 1,000 yards, and he showed the world. Look,
I would take Adrian Peterson this year on a $2 or $3 million deal. I would take that because you're not giving up that much money. You're going to pay Shady $9 million.
We got
$9 million.
We got 80 million. So what's 9, right? So look. It's one of those situations, right? We talk about if LeSean McCoy was on, he's a top 5 back. You can make an argument he's a top 3 back even now. Even right now. Yes, we can't be prisoners of the moment. We can't knock. It's the same thing I was saying about Tyrod. We can't knock Tyrod for being a horrible passer, but then yet, criticize the receivers for not producing. It's one or the other. We can't criticize LeSean McCoy for not producing, yet in the same sentence we're criticizing the offensive line. Like, what is it? Now, I get your point as far as Chris Ivory. But still, if you look at where Chris Ivory is who he is. LeSean McCoy is a home run running back. He's always been a home run guy. So yeah, maybe he was trying to do too much. But my thing is, if you getting rid of McCoy this year, in my opinion, makes no sense. It made more sense last year when
Agree.
Yeah, right? Because now he has no value. Last year he had all the value in the world. So I say go ahead and keep LeSean McCoy and make sure the offensive line is not an issue. And then let's see if he can easily get, because look, you can't just drop off a cliff like that though. Like, you know what I mean? He was a 1,500 yard, total yard back just in 2017. He's not going to drop off the cliff like that in just one season. So I say, look, let's keep McCoy and let this thing ride, man.
Yeah. So Bo Cook says they should trade Shady for AB. So how you feel about that?
I'll do that. All that
you take that one, right?
I'll do that 100%. 100%. Because I know AB, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. He's going to produce, man. He's been in so many situations with Landry Jones, with Michael Vick. He produces regardless. So, I mean, I would do that, man. Yeah. 100%.
Mr. Snowman 17.5 says, I swear I hate trade McCoy haters. Does that mean you hate the ones that want to trade McCoy or the ones that don't want to trade McCoy?
He's talking to you, man. He's talking to you, Dave.
Hey, I'm not trying to trade LeSean McCoy all the time. This is the first time I said that. Nah, I ain't. All right, let's see what else we got here.
Look, Stephen Burns says Shady is still elite. I agree. Shady is still elite, man. He's still elite. He still has it, man. He still has it. You over here talking about
I'll tell you what.
The age ain't nothing but a number, Dave.
I'll tell you what. Next Sunday, I will wear my LeSean McCoy jersey on this show just so you guys don't think I'm a hater. How's that?
I don't know, man.
On this show.
You might buy one of those bootlegs real quick from the corner store.
No, I already got one. Jeremy says, I think Shady's done. So I think some more screen passes to Shady would be good. So, all right, Pierre, what else do you want to talk about? We still got 69 people up in here.
Yo, so
what else you got on the docket?
I'm actually seeing a bunch of comments about Jesse James, and I do think that that's a tight end that we should talk about. Now, I'm not his biggest fan. It's the damn service, man. But anyways, yeah. So it looks as if, Jesse James has all the measurables, right? But Is he that productive? I don't know. Is he better than who we already have? I don't know. But what's your take on it, Dave?
I like Jesse James. I mean, we had I threw a poll up on the Buffalo Fanatics in the group, and I threw it up on the actual Facebook page, and it was resounding Jesse James over Max Williams. I just picked those two guys because they're similar. I like Jesse James. I think on Pittsburgh, with all the other weapons they got, I don't think he was utilized a lot. Now he's big. He's a big boy. He's 6. I think he goes 6'7". He's a big guy. May not be the best in run blocking, which we're going to miss from Charles Clay, but I think he's very athletic. I do think we need to bring in a veteran like Jesse James to go along with Jason Kroom, as well as draft somebody, because I think we just needed to get younger. Like I said last week, we just need to get younger at the position, get more athletic type guys on the team, and they're gonna get away from these older vets. I think that the tight end position in Josh Allen, they need to mesh more. I don't think that Josh Allen looked at Charles Clay enough last season. Charles Clay was kind of Tyrod's safety blanket. The 3 years that they were together, Tyrod seemed to he'd like to throw to him a lot. So hopefully this year, Josh Allen will look more for, even the quick, 8-10 yard dump offs or whatever to the tight end screens, whatever. But I do think that Jesse James, there's rumors out there that the Bills are already targeting him. So another thing I saw too is there was some people complaining about the amount of money that the tight ends they're gonna require in free agency. All right, we paid Charles Clay a hefty contract. If you look at the average salaries of tight ends, they're making between $7 and $9 million a year. I can't see us getting Jesse James for any more than that. I think that'd be more than fair. We have the money. Go ahead and spend it. You're basically replacing Charles Clay. What do you think? Who do you think in this tight end group of free agents do you think would be the best fit for the Bills?
Yo, but no homo, man. You talking all this tight end stuff.
Whoa.
I'll say Max Williams. I think that he should probably be the target. I think he's more of a pure tight end. He does it all, right? He's good in run blocking. He's good in pass catching. So I would probably go ahead and say Max Williams over Jesse James. I'll be made up.
Now they're both young. They're both 24. So I just saw a comment from Uzi T21 Eifert. I'd be a little scared about Eifert. Lots of injuries. He has posted videos of him doing all kinds of like combine-esque, like running, jumping and all kinds of stuff. But with that being said, how many players have has been signed coming off injuries, thinking that, hey, they're recovered and let's give him a shot. Diamond in the rough. This guy's going to be awesome. He's going to be back to what he was before. So we'll see. You want to talk about? I saw a comment about it's back far. You want to talk about Jerry Hughes for a minute, or what do you think?
Sure, go ahead, man.
I saw a comment about I think it said we need more players like Jerry Hughes.
I agree.
And I agree 1,000%. Now, Jerry Hughes during the Rex Ryan era, was kind of undisciplined, but it was because it came from a good place. It came from his belly. It came from his heart. And everybody's seen the footage of him yelling at the referees and, what he got fined for. I just think that Jerry Hughes shows the enthusiasm, the determination, and he just gets fired up. And I think we need more guys like Jerry Hughes, to be on the sideline and chew somebody's ass when they don't make a good play or they screw something up or a stupid penalty. Now, yes, Jerry Hughes has had some dumb penalties, but I think that goes along with the fiery side in Jerry Hughes. And Jerry Hughes, I think last year might be, besides the year that he was with Mario Williams in 2013, or 2014, I think this might be I'm sorry, 2013. This might have been Jerry Hughes' best season to date as a Buffalo Bill. He's at the top in all the pressure categories. You know, he only had 6 sacks, but the dude was a menace. And if we are going to figure out what we're going to do on the opposite side of him, if we go and get somebody in free agency that's just as good, if not better, Jerry Hughes will have a phenomenal season. And I think the Bills need to extend him like now and try to work out something. Yeah.
Is Jerry Hughes a diva? Is he considered a
No.
diva? Right? Yeah, but
No.
Jerry Hughes, he goes crazy on the field. He criticizes refs after games. He's always rah, rah, rah. But I guarantee you, if he was a wide receiver, we would deem him a diva. We would deem him
good point.
We would deem him as high maintenance.
Good point.
So,
I agree.
you know, again, it's one of those things, man. Like, we judge certain positions certain ways, and in my opinion, it's just not fair. It's just not fair. But as far as Jerry Hughes, man, you know, you made a good point, man. When we had Mario Williams, Marcel Darius, and Kyle Williams, the cold front, Jerry Hughes went off, man. He went off. So I think we need to have that one guy on the other side that can take pressure off of Jerry Hughes. Even though Jerry Hughes is still one of the best pass rushers when it comes down to pressures, we got to get those sacks. We definitely got to get those sacks. So that's why I'm saying don't be surprised if we do well in free agency, where we get the wide receiver, we get the O lineman. We may mess around and go with a D lineman in the first round. I mean, that's a possibility. You know, we had one of our run defense was pretty suspect a few games where teams just ran whenever they wanted to. Remember the Patriots rushed for like 270 yards.
Oh, yeah.
And there was another game where, you know, the Colts game where, you know, we just couldn't stop the run. So don't be surprised if McDermott says, yes, even though our defense was overall ranked second in yardage, we have to fix that run defense. We have to fix that pass rush. So that's what I'm saying.
Most of the reason I think our defense ranked so high was because of our pass defense, because we were able to get pressured, because our secondary is what it is, because of the linebacking core we have. And we've gotten gashed 2 years in a row on the ground. 2 years in a row. And that's with Kyle Williams in there. And that's with the upgrade we were supposed to get over Darius with Star Latulele. So the biggest question I think that's going to be on my mind is, what do we do with Shaq Lawson and Trent Murphy? Because I think that Trent Murphy, for the $7.5 million that we gave him, he had 4 sacks. He was injured. I do think that Shaq Lawson did come on towards the end of the season. Seemed like he was batting balls down like crazy. But I think we need another guy like Jerry Hughes, a guy who's going to get constant pressure, and that frees up, you know, either side in the pass defense. So that's very good.
I mean, look, man, I just think right now we had a solid show, man. A solid show. I think it really depends on what we do in free agency, man. Like, you know, a lot of people like to talk about the draft. And, again, I'm one of those. I'm a big fan of the draft. But free agency is key. This offseason prior to the draft is key. Because, we can load up and become an instant contender. I forget the actual person who commented on it. We can probably read over some comments too if you want, Dave. You know, before we end the show. But one person said, "Look, we can win a Super Bowl next year." Like, I know it's far fetched.
Why not?
Why the hell not, man? Like, I've always been one of those fans who is big on every year could be the year. We have a team right now that could make serious noise just this coming season. We had 3 games that were decided in the last 2 minutes of the game. So we could have easily been 8 or 9-7 easily. And I think 9-7 would have probably made it in the playoffs. So again, who knows, man? Who knows? But any comments out there?
All right, so McLovin88 says Jadeveon Clowney.
I like that too.
Would you pay how much? How much would you pay for Jadeveon Clowney?
I'll pay him whatever the top salary is for.
He's gonna get 15 to 17 million easily.
Now, I did see reports so that he was going to be in a franchise. So
franchise tag, yeah. That could be. Yeah, well, I mean, they could franchise and tag him, or trade him. I'm sorry, they could franchise him and trade him.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, here we go. This is a good one. All right, so Game Tuts TV. I think I said your name right, Pierre. You still think that Whaley made better moves than Bean? That 2017 free agent and draft class was fire. Ooh, that's a good one.
I mean, honestly, man, yes, I'm a Whaley fan, have always been a Whaley fan, but I'm not going to hate on Bean too much, right? This is a crucial offseason for Bean as far as seeing what kind of GM he actually is. Yes, he made a ton of trades, but it wasn't necessarily trades for talent. He was trading away talent. Now, he did draft Josh Allen, who could very well be the franchise quarterback that we've been looking for. He did draft Edmonds, who could very well be a solid linebacker for this team. He drafted a Taron Johnson, who looks to be a pretty solid, nickel corner. So, yes, I don't know just yet. Now, I'm going to give Bean this offseason. But what I'm afraid of is the buzzwords that Bean pulls. McDermott started it, and Bean just piggybacked on it. I'm not a fan of the meticulous, of the thorough, of the,
calculated.
Judicious. I'm not a fan of those words, man, because we're not in a city that those words actually work for, right? You can't be meticulous and judicious, trying to get people to come to Buffalo. That just can't happen.
Right.
And Whaley got a bad rap for overplaying for players, but that's kind of what you have to do. You have to get players in Buffalo, and then you have to try to keep them. That's what Whaley was trying to do. With Cordy Glenn, paying him $11 million a year. Bringing in Richie.
Darius.
And re-signing, Darius too. Like, you have to keep those players. Yes, the contract might not be always, favorable, but we're playing in Buffalo, man. Buffalo isn't a spot that free agents go, you know what? I'll take a little bit less to go to Buffalo. Like, it doesn't happen like that. So,
yeah, and you got to think too, not to jump on you, but the contract that Darius got was what defensive tackles that were playing as good as him were getting at that time. It wasn't far-fetched to pay a defensive tackle that was a Pro Bowler $100 million. People are really short to forget. They want to say, and I'm not bashing either Whaley or Bean, but people are really short to forget that Jordan Poyer, that's Doug Whaley. Stephen Hauschka, that's Doug Whaley. Micah Hyde, that's Doug Whaley. I mean, people really forget that the impact that he's had on these guys that are still on the team. The Zach Browns that we should have re-signed. Lorenzo Alexander, that's Doug Whaley. The first time we kept Kyle here under contract, that's Doug Whaley. I mean, I'm talking about, 3-4 years ago. But everybody, like you said, gets caught up in Bean and all these buzzwords and process and, playoff caliber and stuff like that. But on the flip side, you're going to be calculated about free agency. We don't want you to be calculated. We've waited long enough. We have waited long enough for you to go out there and go nuts and get the guys that are going to make this team competitive for now and the future, because that's your cool little term. We want to win now, and we want to win in the future, right? So, anyways, I kind of went off on that. I took over your thunder on that one.
Well, no, I mean, I'm right there with you, man. It's one of those things where we just have to, diagnose who we want and just go get them. I mean, yes, we might have to pay a little extra. You know, Charles Clay, I actually respect the fact that Doug Whaley found a guy. He said, you look, Charles Clay would be good for this offense. He would help Tyrod Taylor. Come to find out, Tyrod Taylor just wasn't that good. It wasn't Charles Clay's fault. He just wasn't that good. And sometimes you have to overpay for the players you want. And yes, sometimes it backfires, of course. But go after it. Go get it, man. You know?
Yeah.
If Doug Whaley just drafted a quarterback, or, I'm sorry, if he would have just figured out the quarterback position, he would still be, you know, the GM of the Buffalo Bills, man. I mean, it's one of those things. It comes back to that one position. So, yeah. You know, to answer the question, though, as far as Bean is concerned, man, this is a crucial offseason, and this is the offseason that I'm going to really judge Bean. I mean, he hasn't really had a lot of money to play with in the past, so we'll see. We'll definitely see. Any more comments, man?
Absolutely. Yeah, so we got, let's see. We hated when Rex spoke too much to the media, and we hate that McDermott doesn't tell the media enough. Ooh, that's a good one. I guess that's just the Bills fan base. Like, you know, we're just used to being average, that we find something to bicker about. You know, we bickered that Rex was too much in the media. Now we bicker that McDermott just regurgitates the same sayings over and over. Gotta watch tape. Gotta watch tape. Gotta watch tape. I don't know. I gotta watch the tape.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I'm serious. Like McDermott, he has the best poker face, and he doesn't give us anything. Which that's who he is, and I think we just got to get used to it. That's who he is. And I don't believe. Yeah, I mean, I like McDermott too, but like, as far as Bean goes, I don't think Bean ever tells the truth. Honestly, I think it's all smoke all the time, just to throw people off. Because if he ever does the stuff that he says he's going to do, besides drafting Josh Allen, I don't know. Like, he's always, whenever, it's like the biggest, like, so somebody will ask him a question. Someone will ask him a question like when they were at the Senior Bowl. Are you guys going to upgrade the offensive line? We're always looking for talent. Really? Thank you.
I mean, like,
no shit. Like,
he can't throw his players under the bus, though. Yeah, we're looking at offensive line because our offensive line sucks. Like, he can't say that.
Yeah, no, but he can say, you know what? We're looking to upgrade that position, and that's a position of need. He can't give a shit like that. You know, you better be fucking calling Matt Parodies.
If he's saying that, oh yeah, but, you know, that's the position of need. You know, the offensive lineman not gonna be like, yo, what the heck? I'm not good enough, right? I get the point. But Bean actually gives us a lot more than McDermott. That's for damn sure.
Well, yeah, he does. He does give us more than McDermott.
When Bean, you know, sat there and said, yo, I made a mistake as far as that damn quarterback position, I mean, that wasn't a lie. He told the damn truth on that shit because, hell yeah, you made a mistake. Yeah. Right? Me and Rico,
because everybody knew it was obvious that he fucked that shit up.
100%. You know, me and Rico was going back and forth the entire offseason about what should the Bills do at the quarterback position. My whole position was, you play Josh Allen from day one, week one. You give him all the reps. Don't waste no reps, no nothing. While Rico with the whole Nate Peterman process.
Peterman.
So now, if you're going to want to have Josh Allen sit for a year, no problem, fine. If that's what you want to do, fine. You don't have him as the backup then. If that was the whole plan, that's where the plan kind of fell on its face. You don't have him as the backup. You have him as the third string and have him marinate, if that's what you want to do. You have a veteran, you know, behind whoever the starter is. So if Nate Peterman was a starter, fine. You keep A.J. McCarron. Right? Yeah. So that's where the whole thing was. We were trying to have Josh Allen just learn, sit and learn. No, that doesn't happen as the backup quarterback. Because anything can happen, boom, you're in. Right? So, yeah, I mean, I respect the fact that Bean at least admitted that, yo, I made a mistake. Because a lot of GMs don't do that.
Yeah. All right, we got a comment from Bo Cook. It says, I think McDermott is a great D coordinator, but as a head coach, he has no idea what he's doing.
I don't know.
What do you think about that?
Man? I don't know about that. I think McDermott is a solid coach. As far as an in-game coach, it's a little suspect because there's certain things in-game that I'm like, yo, why are you doing this? You should have went for it there. You should have called a timeout there. Now, what I will say is, as far as an offensive mind, he doesn't have much of it, right?
Yeah.
He's struggling when it comes down to finding an offense. So, yes, that aspect of it, yes. But as far as a head coach, I think the players are motivated to play for him. I think he's doing a good job as far as, getting the team ready to play, for most weeks. So I'm not going to hate on him too much. But he's been struggling when it comes down to that offense. So, yeah.
Yeah, I do think though that McDermott is a guy that learns from his mistakes. We touched on it last week a little bit. I think hopefully it doesn't take him too long to learn. I think he learned from the quarterback situation. I think he learned a lot about the quarterbacks. And then look at what they've done. They've kept, the two backups on the team. They brought in a young quarterback coach. So I think that he has learned. He's gone younger in coaching, so I think he has learned from there. Most of the comments coming through are about McDermott taking time. Oh, yeah. Here. So Sean Munley says, taking timeouts at halftime kills me every time. Or not taking them. What are you saving them for? 1 in 14. Yeah. Bills fan 7883 says he's like 1 in 14 in challenges. Bad clock.
Yeah.
Bad clock management.
Yeah, that is true. That is
so.
True. That is true. I mean,
is there anything else you want to? Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say, as far as Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane, man, it's hard to really bash them too much, right? Because they haven't really had a chance to fully, plan out and execute what they want to do. This off season is the season for them to execute what they're trying to do.
Right.
So let's see what happens, man. I mean, this is crucial off season. But to go back to what the original topic is, Antonio Brown, let's at least attempt to trade for the guy, man. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Just attempt it. We'll probably not have Antonio Brown on the Buffalo Bills roster. But just attempt the bitch. Just show the fans that you're wanting to win. Period. You're wanting to help Josh Allen progress. Period.
Yeah.
So that's
I
where
agree.
I'm at. Shout out to all the
Put
fans
the league
who
on.
tuned in. We have 44 people watching right now. Shout out to all you guys. We're going an hour strong, and still people are fans of what we're talking about. So shout out to you guys. But look, am I right or am I right? Because I know Dave is wrong on this one. Am I right or am I right?
Oh, goodness. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. But like you said, let's put the NFL on notice that we're at least making attempts to get these guys, even if it's a fluff offer. Let's put something out there saying, what do you want? What's it going to take? All right, we'll call you back. Put it out there. Same thing for Le'Veon Bell. What do you want? How much is it going to cost? Let me open my wallet. I got $85 million sitting right here with your name on it. What's it going to take?
No. We ain't give that motherfucker $85 million now.
You know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean, Dave.
You know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean.
It's in the bank. We got it in the bank. We can shed a little bit to him. Give him a little bit.
Monopoly, my motherfucker.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
No. He can pass go, but he might go to jail too on just a couple rolls, man. So
shit!
You better watch out. You better watch out. But man.
All I know is they need to spend all this damn money. That's all I know. Spend it all. Spend it all. Fix this team.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
why not?
We have to make noise. We have to make noise, man. We definitely have to make noise.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, man. But like I said, man, shout out to all the fans watching, man. We'll be on next week. So going forward, every Sunday, 8 o'clock. I know there's a comment out there that says, yo, man, you guys have to let us know when you're going live. Every Sunday from now on out, 8 o'clock Eastern time, we're going live. We had to do it today because of some, plans that has been changed. But every Sunday going forward, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be live right here. And hopefully we can bring on some
Where?
Right here.
Live right where?
Buffalo Fanatics YouTube channel, Buffalo Fanatics TV. Hopefully we can bring on, Thomas. Thomas that's been, doing his thing right now. The Elite Fanatic. Shout out to him. Rico, of course. We'll see if we can bring on Rico. You can follow him at RealRico_BF. Shout out to you, Dave. Much appreciated. As you already know, every week we about to kill it. So
that's right.
Anything else you wanna, close out with, man?
No, make sure you guys like this. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell. Make sure you guys subscribe so we can get this bitch to 10,000 by the time the season starts. Because we're doing this for you. 10,000.
Yo, we have 40 people watching right now. As soon as you guys finish watching this, I'm serious. Go in the description and go find the BF Discord chat link. We're going to go on Discord right after this and chat with the fans. That is what I think is going to be one of the livest things this offseason, especially during free agency and draft. We're going to be chatting away on there. So make sure you guys, go down, click the Discord chat link, join us on there. And yeah, man, just, follow us, and it is what it is.
All social media platforms. Just search Buffalo Fanatics. We're on all of them, everywhere. So
yeah, all the links are below,
right,
man. So
yeah, all the links are in the description below. All right, Kingpin, you drink enough wine?
Oh, yo, I'm already done, man. I'm already done. It's all empty.
Oh my gosh.
Empty, man.
All right.
That's how we do it.
You want to take us out?
All right, man. I love you guys, man. I'll see you guys in the next one.